It's that time again. Feisty Fridays. I think this is the 16th edition. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. I'm just committing and I'm coming on here every week and I'm talking about things that I'm thinking about. Last week was a doozy. Last week's newsletter was incredibly personal. And it's been interesting to spend the week thinking more and more about what I felt so passionate to record about and to write about last week. Um, those of you who know me, you know I am not just an advocate for LGBTQ, but I am passionate about uniqueness. I am so passionate about human uniqueness and the idea that we would ever want to be homogenized. It just doesn't make any sense because homogenizing means not leveraging our uniqueness. And when we leverage our uniqueness, it means that however you see the world, whoever you are or believe you are, these are the things that give us strength and power. People don't need to be fixed, they need to be affirmed. And I believe our species was meant for affirmation. I believe as humans, we were meant for affirmation, affirmation of one another. I think that's the definition of community. I believe so much in that, that the thought that a major, major world leading country would reconsider and pull back the laws on therapy that literally exists to change people, to force them to change. It is absolutely, without question, not helping people. It is a masquerade of the greatest proportion. And I went as far last week as calling it violence disguised as care. And that's exactly what it is. Conversion therapy is something, unfortunately, that I know a lot about because I was raised in the cult that encouraged it. I was raised in a cult that felt conversion therapy was the way to extend compassion to people who were simply based on the cult's mentality, people who were confused. I can tell you firsthand, this is not what it does. What it does is it harms. What it does is violently attack a human's uniqueness. And honestly, in the name of what often so many people say it's for, which is to make people holy, it does exactly the opposite. It actually creates holes in people where they didn't exist before. And I've been provocative about this, certainly in mixed conversation. I will never share anything that I don't believe passionately. And I also am open. I am very open to change and to be pushed and to reconsider my beliefs. I've had to because I was raised in a cult. So I understand the cult mentality. In fact, I fight my own temptation to continue to maintain that. But I work at my beliefs and I believe that it takes work. So when rhetoric like this idea to bring back conversion therapy surfaces, and it's under the banner of faith or protection or even, the right way, that stuff isn't protective. Not protective of humans, not protective of uniqueness. It actually dismantles the freedoms that so many of us, particularly in North America, have fought to achieve. So, because I feel so strongly that it's emotional violence, I have thought a lot this week about what other things we do as professionals, as project managers, and as leaders that is emotionally violent. And you know what I came up with? I came up with my own desire to get my way, my own need as a leader to be right. These ego-driven performative actions that I can take are actually committing violence against others, emotional violence against others, when the appropriate way through is to listen more than I speak, is to be in service to others and to be in service and in curiosity to discovering who they are and what makes them so special. Because I really do believe that our value as individuals is intrinsic. And if you can't fix something that was ever broken, or excuse me, that was never broken, then we need to stop thinking about how to do that. And you know what? As a leader, I do think about that sometimes. There are behaviors of people that I work with right now that make me believe that they need to be fixed. But that position of arrogance on my part needs to be checked. Because what I do not want to ever be guilty of is inflicting emotional violence on someone just because I think I'm right. And I'm not making a political statement at all. I'm making an emotional plea as a leader, as a project professional, that I would consistently ask myself, is this behavior emulating compassion? Are there better questions that I can ask of others that lean into my curiosity about who they are so that they can feel comfortable to share their honest selves with me? Will my voice actually stand to protect and to honor the dignity of everyone? Or is it just interested in protecting me? I don't want it to be that way. Because what I want to model as a leader is true love. And yeah, I said it, love. We don't talk enough about love in a professional setting, but we need to. And yeah, I'm the feisty PM. And yeah, I feel really feisty about this. But it's because I want everyone that I come in contact with to feel high regard for me. Love, if you want to call it that, because that's what it is. Love and respect for who they are, for what they bring, and for how they are unique, because their uniqueness makes me better. It makes me better if they're willing to share that with me and if I can learn from it. So I spent the better part of this week thinking a lot about how to be a more loving leader. And that stems from my desire to not continue to commit any acts of violence against anyone. And that's saying a lot because I'm feisty and I want to say things that are provocative, but I don't ever want the provocation to create harm. So I'm going to turn my attention to what it means to be feisty in the coming weeks. I'm going to spend from now until the end of this year focused on how I define feisty. And actually, I'm going to make it a call to action, because I am not the only feisty person out there. In fact, there are thousands of us who are feisty in our own way, and we need to come together, and our voices need to be heard now more than ever. So join me for the next collection of Fridays where my feistiness turns into specifically, what do I mean when I say I'm feisty? And what does it mean to be feisty? I've been working on a manifesto. And in the midst of working on that manifesto for myself, I recognize that there are tenets of truth in there for all of us. So I'm going to share it. And I'm really looking forward to that journey. I'm looking forward also to the journey because I haven't done it yet. I haven't written the newsletters. I haven't recorded the videos. I'm going to do it live week to week in my own journey. And so what I would say about my feistiness today may not be what I would say next Friday. Stay tuned because I'm going to do the evolution live with you.